The simplest cast on the fly rod is the roll cast. It's equivalent to a lob cast on a spinning rod. There's two things you need to remember. The first thing, acceleration to a stop. Acceleration to a stop. You're accelerating the line and then stopping. And the next thing is you remember this motion here. It's just them here and here. That's all you got to remember. You bam, accelerate to a stop. And even on the back cast, it's just reverse. But you just, to learn the basic roll cast, accelerate to a stop. Accelerate to a stop. Here. Accelerate to a stop. Accelerate to a stop. That's all you got to remember. You always come out here to the yard and peel out some line. You got to get 6 or 8 feet of line out. You don't have to have a lot of line to do this. And again, you see the rod, the length of the line is about the length of the rod, and we have our leader out. You don't put a hook on it because you'll get hung up in every blade of grass in the yard. And hold it here in this position, right? And you make sure that there's a D loop, basically the line's forming a rough D around you, and you're just accelerating to a stop, and it'll just flick out right in front of you. And you can get some very long casts like this. People don't really realize, just it'll cast. You can cast many feet like this. You know, you may not be able to see that, but that's it. That D, remember, get the D in this position, accelerate to a stop. You just flick it down. You know, just right before you about to go forward with it. You know, the hand is roughly 12 o'clock position, the rod's roughly a 2 o'clock position, and we just cast all the way out. Let's go, you know. And then the back cast is simply the reverse. Now with the roll cast, you can put your finger there, and that sort of helps guide. Actually helps. We're getting caught up on the trees here. So, and once you kind of get that, you can do that, you know, sideways. You can do it all kinds of directions. You can even go in reverse. So once you have this roll cast, you're set. So let's break this down in slow motion. Okay, so in the roll cast, remember, hand is roughly in the 12 o'clock position, rod's roughly in the 2 o'clock position, and when you want to cast, you just bring your arm down slightly, and you, right at the very end, you bring that wrist down into that locked position. And that's what accelerates it to a stop. If you just accelerate to a stop, you can learn any fly cast. It's not about muscle and power, it's about timing. You flick that wrist down right at the end, that'll accelerate the line to a stop. And you can use that finger to help guide if your rod is light enough, if it's heavy enough, don't worry about it. And that's how you do a roll cast. The most basic, and I would argue the most practical cast in all fly casting. Remember, in River Runs Through It, they were too tight to the bank. He had to do a roll cast, and that was the big slow motion shot that we saw. Roll cast is very practical. You have to master the roll cast. Forget bad casts and forget all long, beautiful casts. Get a good roll cast and you can catch anything in the river.